lesser talent, but with a very wise mind, can often beat the more talented player. An example, my buddy Brad Gilbert, great announcer on TV for tennis. His strokes were so ugly, I wore three pair of Maui Jim glasses. But you know what? He beat Agassi, he beat Becker with his mind, baby, with his mind. So all of you, don't tell me you don't have the physical talent that maybe some of the other people do. You can beat them with your mind. But find a way to get over it. Another thing, never use the word, I can't do it. So many years ago, a young boy, 17 years old, I took him to Washington, D.C. to try to qualify to get into this big tournament. He had just signed a multi-million-dollar contract with Nike. Got out on the court, had his hair all duded up, yeah, looking good, baby. And he didn't make the qualifying round. I walked out of the coach's box, and I said to his brother Philip, where's my boy here? He said, Nick, he's across the street breaking his rackets. I walked across the street, everybody, and I said, Andre, what's wrong, son? He said, Nick, I don't have it. I can't do it. I said, Andre, do I have a watch on? No. Don't you ever say you can't do it, but say I will do it. 2 weeks later, we went to Vermont, beat the number 6 player of the world, went on to be one of the best players ever. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what it takes, you find a way. So many people give up too quickly. I built the first living sports academy of the world, the Nick Voluntary Tennis Academy, on 40 acres. Now the IMG Academy, 600 acres, 10 sports. When I built the first living tennis academy,
Say to me again, this is my business.
This is my business.
Repeat after me, and what I do matters.
What I do matters.
So, I want to talk to you about the 8 disciplines. It's out there. I'm asking you to step up your commitment. And I know, every day, do I get to go on vacation? What do you think of my world? What do you think the answer is?
Yeah.
Heck yes. And I hope a lot of them. But it is a shift, my friends, and I want you to write down the following. You ready? You're going to work partnered with the most important human need, housing. That's what I get to do every single day. It's so special, and I never take it for granted. This is my business. This is what I do. I'm super pumped. How about you? Tell me about school. Tell me about teaching. What are you all about? Here's the thing, guys. Answer me this. Do you identify yourself as someone that loves to get on the phone and prospect? Good. 9 of you. Awesome. We're screwed. Do you identify with yourself? Do you identify with yourself with someone that is building a business?
Yes.
I got a few more of you. That was good. Do you identify yourself as someone that recognizes where you are today has absolutely nothing to do with where you could be in 5 years?
Heck yeah.
Do you identify yourself as someone that gets break down to break through?
Yes.
Do you identify yourself as someone that takes risks? Ooh, less yeses though. Do you someone that understands they're not rejecting you, they just don't need my services at this time. They just don't need it at this time. But they're going to need it later, and I'm not going anywhere. This is my business. But everybody is saying a recession, not a housing crisis by 2020, 2021. So what do we got to do? Run our business, stockpile cash, get our systems tight, be more tech-enabled, understand the lifetime value of our customers. Start taking this thing just a little more seriously, because when shit gets weird, everybody else falls apart and we dominate. That's the game. So here's the last one. You ready? Cynical knucklehead is not doing their work, it doesn't matter where you go. You guys with me on this? I would much prefer to get a deeper relationship where I'm at and connect on that level with the internal transaction team, with the management team, and make it right. That's your first option. The second option, you ready? Let me just make it easy. SEAL team or scaled team? Let's call it SEAL team or large team. Those are the two other options. A SEAL team. Now, many of you, how many of you identify with SEAL team? Killer assistant, one salesperson on the team, a marketing director, everybody's cross-trained, and you guys and gals are like ninjas. You show up dressed in black, you got the hoods on. But here's the deal, guys. The SEAL team can sell 70, 80, 100 homes a year. Here's what's got to be in place. You ready? You have to have a rock star administrator. A rock star administrator who is the yin to your yang. How many rock star administrators do we have in the room right now? Please stand up. All the rock star administrators, all the agent assistants, all the operators. Give these men a huge round of applause. Now here's the deal. You gotta have a rock star administrator, and here's what they do. Everything other than follow up, prospect, go on appointments, and negotiate. They do everything. You touch nothing. You're bad at it. Have you seen the marketing you've tried to create? Should I take that photo from here? From here. Get not all of it, but it's a big chunk of it. This is how you change the family dynamic forever. Turn to your buddy, and I want you to look him right in the eye and say, "This is my business."
This is my business. Oh, that's a
Now, let me tell you what's going to happen. We're going to do a Walla Walla. Real estate, Walla Walla market update. That might even be better. Real estate, your town market update, April 2018. Right? April 2019. April, and all of a sudden they now see you've been doing this every single month. You know what you are now? You are the authority. You are Neo. Where's Neo, by the way? Neo, where are you? Was that insanely great this morning with Neo? Neo, your video has gone so viral. Now, see, now we gotta dance and she's all crazy. If you weren't here this morning for the Q&A, you missed something very magical. All right, ready? So number one is so you guys ready? I'll do a show. Hey, it's Tom Ferry with Banana Real Estate. Super excited to talk to you about the results we had in the month of July. You know, the real estate market's been rather interesting. Today, I want to pinpoint two specific price points. The median price point today in Bananaville is $485,000. A $485,000 home gives you pretty much a beautiful, charming 4-bedroom, 3-bath with an 8,000 square foot lot and a 2-car garage. What we're seeing though right now in this price point is things are beginning to soften. Now, does that mean the end of the world, the real estate recession? By no stretch of the imagination. The reason I say soften is over the last 90 days, we went from having 125 homes on the market on average to 178 homes on average in June, and in July, we hit over 300 homes on the market. Now, the good news is sales are still happening, but we still only have the same 127 buyers that we had in May, that we had in June, and we had in July. So it's just basic supply and demand. What my most savviest clients have discovered though, is it's okay to have lots of inventory and buyers to have options. Certainly if you're watching the show and you're thinking of buying a home, you love the fact that you have options. On the seller side though, now more than ever, how you market and position a home is everything. There's three things that our last 4 transactions all had in common. Number one, we staged the property to make sure it looked exactly like a new home would. So if you're talking to your agent or you're talking to your friend, without a shadow of a doubt, in this price range with this much competition, staging is a massive degree of separation. The second one is, if you don't do a video on the home and make sure it gets the highest amount of distribution on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and everything else, you're just simply missing out on the eyeballs of the consumers today. And number 3, having that property showcased the correct way on Zillow, on Trulia, on all the different websites is going to make that property stand out. And the last one, just as a bonus, we only did this with 2 clients, but we had over 173 buyers through the house by this thing we do called a mega open house, which I think I've explained a few times on this show. So that's what's happening right now in the $485,000 price range. In the high end, it's same interesting little case study. So that's it. The month of July was good. So far, August is looking fantastic. I hope you and your family are having a wonderful holiday, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Video ends. Just one after another. And here's the thing. You know when your friend says, hey, what's going on in the market? How you feeling? And you're like, whoa, sales have been a little bit in July, this happening, and it depends. Are you talking about high end, low end, this, that? The same thing that your friends you just share that with, share it with everyone. Got it? So turn to your buddy and say, every single month.
Every single month.
Every single month.
Every single month.
Okay, number 2, ready? Just write down the word interviews, and I'm going to give you a whole laundry list. Are you ready? Interviews, in no order, but I'm looking for, at the minimum, once a month, ideally twice, you will find the rhythm of what people like in your community. Interviews, ready? The school principal, restaurant owners, coffee house owners. Coffee houses, guys, bananas. You show up first thing in the morning, you got all the lines, all the people are there. Right? You know the ones that are right for your market. Ready? The local breweries. What is it about people and alcohol, man? And then you can tag all the other breweries, and they're going to call you and say, hey, will you do a show on me as well? And you say, but see, these guys listen and sell with me, and they refer me a lot of business, so you know, I'm just playing. Don't actually say that. Here's one, you ready? The local art gallery owner. Notice I'm hitting demographics right now if you're paying attention. If you're paying attention, we're doing demographic marketing here. Ready? You want to interview the great local architects. You might even want to do a whole show called How to Select an Architect. Write down the following. You want to crush it. Who wants more home builders saying, hey, will you listen and sell my houses for me? Yeah. So how about doing some interviews with home builders? What do you think of the 3 biggest mistakes the person that's never built a home before? What are the mistakes that they make? Well, they have unrealistic expectations. They really don't get their plans done right. They make too many changes along the way. They think their budget's this, but it's always this. And, so you're educating. It's awesome. Here's a big one. Ready? The local bank president. The local bank president. The best loan officer. I'm going to pick up the page. You ready? You want to kill it? Real estate tax specialists. Real estate tax specialists. You ready? Especially if they are senior in terms of their demographic. What are you seeing today? Your median client is 70 years old. They've got this generational wealth. They've got all this real estate. What are the mistakes? What do? You're digging in, asking questions. You're going to kill it there. You want to have some fun and get a little controversial? Politicians. And by the way, don't go your way, go both ways. For some of you knuckleheads, listen to me, for all of you in the U.S., listen to me. For you knuckleheads that alienated half of the population, that was a dumbass move on your part. You with me? But I don't care.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I don't even know. But here's the deal. We were like, yeah, you did. We'll vote for you anyway. But the problem is, if you only go one way, you alienate the other half. Why would you ever alienate? Why would you say to half the world, screw you? You with me? Intentionally. So you do both. Even better yet, get them together and have a healthy debate. Wouldn't that be cool, right? Now you got everybody. You want to talk about comments on your page, but you got to stay neutral. Yeah, you're right. Screw him. That's not good. Now, you ready? How about your title rep? Hey, when you're you're doing 300 title orders a month. First of all, what is title insurance? Why does it matter? How does it work? When does it come into play? What do you guys do? What does it mean? Right? Keep going. How about your closing attorney? You want to do a killer one? Do one with your escrow coordinator or your transaction coordinator. Hey Martha, hey Bill, I'll sit down with you today. Tell us what are the big mistakes you see in agents when they're writing up their contracts. What do you see is the challenge that a seller faces, a buyer faces? Here's another one, you ready? You absolutely want to do an interview or two with home stagers. How do you stage a home to sell? Now, you really want to kill it? I'm going to keep going. You guys got a decent... So far, do you have some shows you can do? Mm-hmm. Okay, you ready? How about you do a show with the last 3 first-time buyers you worked with, and you do all 3 of them together? Yeah. Hey, I'm sitting down with, the Hooby-Doos, the Hama-Hamas, and the Nana-Nanas. And they've all bought their first home in the last 4 months. And I'll need to start by saying, I'm so proud of you guys, and they're just gushing. Now, who do you think they're going to share that show with?
Everybody.
Their mom's going to watch it 63 times, right? You're going to go, oh, you went to Baylor? You're going to take the video, and you're going to boost it to everyone that went to Baylor. You guys with me on this? Guys, we're doing demographic marketing. You think I'm giving you a list of people to go after? I'm telling you, this is how you win. Now, ready? How about with the last 3 expired listings? Where you actually sit down with them and say, Christian, would you mind just sharing the experience? I know you please don't say the other agent's name of their company, right? You tell them that in advance, don't do it on the show. You say, so what was it? Well, my wife said, let's just go with this person. She's a friend, and we didn't do a lot of research, and, she put the home on the market. We were kind of expecting it was going to be great. Like, they sell the shit out of you. You with me?
And then, well, what was the difference? Well, you came in, you repackaged, you positioned. It was just exciting. You just believed that the home was going to sell. Your energy was contagious. Your marketing. When you did that open house thing with Bob, I mean, there was clowns and balloons, and there was food. I think there was weed. It was crazy. That's for the Washington. Oh, God, I don't even know. Now, California. Now, you ready? Third section. You're going to have so many shows to shoot. Ready? Third section. I'm going to give you just a bunch. You want to do shows called Did You Know? Did You Know? Or How They Do It. Did You Know? So you want to do a Did You Know show on Did you know you can buy a home today at blank % down? And if you go, did you know you can buy a home in Walla Walla, Washington for as little as 3% down? And that is your Google tag, 3% down, Bank of America, financing, buy your first home, first-time home buyers, because you're going to tag every one of those on your YouTube video. Bananas. Ready? Your next show should be, did you know that rents are blank compared to the average mortgage payment? Did you know that rents are blank compared to the average mortgage payment? I would do a show called, do you know how much you can rent your home for? Did you know how much you can rent your home for? Timmy, that kind of changed some motivation for me. Number 4, you ready? 3 mistakes to avoid when buying your first home. Did you know there's 3 common mistakes that first-time home buyers make? And they seem to make them over and over again, so I'm really doing this show as a public service announcement. So if you or someone you know is thinking of buying a home, whether they're right here in Walla Walla or any somewhere around the world, send them this video and help the people that you know. Please forward this video to as many people as you can. There's 78 million millennials coming to the market and they have no idea. They're all playing Fortnite right now. They're not knowing what to do. Do you guys know what Fortnite is? Oh my goodness. We all wish we started that business. You ready? This one, put like 6 stars, 5 asterisks, put like 8 money signs next to it. 7 home improvements to instantly increase your home's value. 7 home improvements to instantly increase your value. 7 home improvements to instantly increase your value. You know, like, hey, do you all remember the Ezell report that came out, the one from 2 years ago? That there's this great little line that said, the single most important leading indicator of a future home seller is improvements on their home. The second they start shopping for home improvements, I will be running my Google video ad on every person that is in my area who's going, you know, like home improvements, Pinterest idea home improvements, and then literally 2 days later they're on Google, or they're on YouTube, excuse me, and I'm like, hey, I'm Tom Ferry. Are you thinking about improving the value of your home? I'd be killing it with that. Look at the next one. You ready? The difference between hiring a local agent and an agent outside of the area. Did you know the difference between hiring a local agent and an agent outside of the area? Ready? 3 ways to sell at the highest possible price in the shortest amount of time. Did you know that there's 3 ways that you can sell for the highest possible price in the shortest amount of time? And then you should absolutely do a show called Considering Selling Your Home on Your Own. Here are the 47 things you have to do to guarantee you sell your home. And you just start like this. Number 1, get comfortable with all of these contracts. You with me? Number 2, and I can imagine your video like this. You need to put out 36 signs on your open house, and all of a sudden it's got to run you pop, 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 signs everywhere. And you make it an animated, fun show that is educating them on understanding what it really takes. Now, you ready? The 4th factor I wrote down, the 4th subject matter I would do lots of behind the scenes. Lots of behind the scenes. Here would be the first behind the scenes I would do. Marty, we should have done this on you. Ready? You're standing in your office and you're like, oh, hey, thanks for checking in with me today. I'm working with this young couple. They want to buy on these 2 streets in Del Mar, California. The challenge is there's no homes on the market. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to call every single person on the street and see if they've had any thoughts of selling. One of the things that I do for my clients is I go above and beyond the extra mile. I don't wait for somebody to hit the MLS. So check it out and watch. And I start calling people. They can't hear both sides of the conversation. They just hear me. And then I would speed up the video so it looks like this. Well, so here's the results. I was actually in 2 hours able to contact 7 people. Of the 7 people, 5 of them thanked me profusely. Couldn't believe that I was calling. 2 of them said, we've been thinking about it. And one of them actually told me that they believe someone 3 streets over is considering, and they would talk to them for me. I'm Tom Ferry, Banana Real Estate, just going above and beyond. Video ends.
Boom.
You're like, shit, then I have to make phone calls. No, you can just fake it and just, Now you ready? Behind the scenes, watch this. Whiteboard up, Kurt, whiteboard up. Stats. 93 properties on the market that they're competing against. Only 22 buyers. Really big stat. Right? Marketing plan. And I write up, it's already all written up there. Mega open house this. Boom, 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 that. Zillow boost this. Facebook video this. Da, 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 da. And it's just, hey, today I'm just doing an example. Like we're about to list this magnificent house, but the challenge is there's 93 homes on the market and we're averaging only 27 transactions being done in that price range. So the sellers challenged me to really pull out all the stops. It's funny, like the average real estate agent only has 11 different ways that they market and sell a home. I actually have a list of 93 things that we do, and what we take is from that 93, we customize based on the demographic and of course the avatar of who the buyer would be. And by the way, everybody knows you've got to market to a very specific avatar, or in today's environment, you just don't sell. The person watching the video is going, what the hell is an avatar? I thought that was a movie about big giant blue things. What else does this genius know that I don't know? How many of you guys are getting what I'm doing there? You with me? Now, number 5, you guys want to kill it? Who wants to kill it? I'm sorry, whose business is this?
Mine!
I can't hear you.
Mine!
If I don't see this, it doesn't count. Whose business is this?
My business!
Look at your buddy and say, my business.
My business! All y'all.
Yes. Are you ready? This is where you're going to absolutely kill it. Write down driving neighborhood tours. Where's my buddy Christoph Chu? Driving neighborhood tours. This is what Christoph's been doing for the last year, guys. He has a little sticky thing on his car, like on the mirror, and he starts with, puts it up there, and he's in his Mercedes, and he goes, hi everybody, it's Christoph Chu, Cold Anchor Previews in Beverly Hills, California. Today, we're going to go look at Bananaville. It's a 75-home development. It's a lovely day here in Beverly Hills. We're going to have so much fun. And he flips it around as he drives through the neighborhood. And if you ever watch one of these videos, he just says, and he's not doing anything to the camera. He's driving. The camera's perfectly still on the windshield. And he's like, the home there on the right, that's owned by Hoobie-Dooby-Dooby-Doo. They bought that house 7 years ago. You should have seen what it looked like before. They've done a magnificent job bringing this thing up to... And then from his phone, exactly, uploads it into YouTube and puts down, Truesdale Homes for Sale in 2018. Learning to Truesdale, he tags it with everything about that community name. When home shoppers are searching, do they go like this? Homes for sale in San Diego. Or do they go like this? Irvine Terrace Homes for Sale. Which one? So write down this question. How many community videos are you going to create? And then how are you going to boost and push them out? This whole distribution strategy? How many are you going to do? The answer is every community you want to be selling homes in. So if you're in an 8,000 home community, but there's 63 different projects inside there, you're not doing one, you're doing 63 micro market videos. Do they have to be 20 or 30 minutes? Could they be 2 or 3 minutes? Could they be 5 minutes? Make sense? Now, debrief with your buddy, because I'm looking at some of your brains. My business. I want you to tell your buddies the truth. What are you going to do realistically between now and the end of the year? Tell your buddy. Should I be doing it pre-recorded? Guess what my answer is?
Live.
Yes. Here's why. In the beginning, when you're not as comfortable with your cadence and your pace and your tempo and what you're saying, and you're nervous, like, hey, maybe I want to edit that, or I want to say something different, or I'm going to be showing different parts, that clearly needs to be filmed on an iPhone or a camera. But as you up your game, what will happen is you'll be shooting your show, and someone else will be filming you live behind the scenes. Does that make sense? Now remember yesterday we talked all the different live strategies, you in front of the house, just so you should be doing at the minimum a Facebook and Instagram and Twitter live every single week. Every single week. But in this case, I'm really talking about creating a show, having it edited nicely, a nice opening, a nice closing at the end, and using this distribution point. Does that make sense? A little more advanced to start ripping a Facebook Live off, putting it inside YouTube, tweaking it all up. That's a little more complex. I'm starting basically. Now, here's my request for you guys. My request is, first of all, do me a favor, take a big deep breath. Okay, I'm actually going to bring up a guest for the last few minutes, then we'll break in about, call it 8 or 9 minutes. You know what breakout sessions you're going to?
bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Save them some money. Yes. Say, I don't know, just throw it out there. Peggy. Yes. Oh, good.
When we're setting our goals, I'm not setting them. Right? That's how I started. You're going to do 2 deals a month, and then I want you to have 3 deals a month, and then that's not for everyone. Let them set the goal. Here's the activities. Tom talks about how do you get your daily number. So they said, and then if you're not doing stuff, like, what are we going to do?
Did your goal change?
We changing the goal. We changing the daily activities. So when you start to have those one-on-one conversations, you give me permission to hold you accountable. Is key.
Peggy, did you have a question?
First of all, thank you so much. They do work hard. They work very, very hard until they spend all the money. They go on vacation. My team members are here.
So they make money, they quit working, they come back because they need money.
So
then
it's
they
not
quit
that they're
working.
not lovely.
Is that
They are lovely. They've been
what you're saying?
so how do we?
We're not looking for love.
Consistency.
So how do we hold them accountable? That means it's not that they're not producing.
Okay, I got it. How do you get them off the roller coaster?
Well,
Do you have those?
our average price point's like $260, so I don't have that problem. You stop working, you stop making money. But our goal as a team leader is also to help them get to a consistent business. That's one of our value propositions. I'm going to coach you so that you don't have those highs and lows. And if you follow the plan, you're going to have a consistent paycheck. I do know some of the teams that have like massive price points. That's exactly what their agents do. They sell a home and then they just like take it easy for a while. So we don't have that option.
And I might add, you are way too generous to your team.
Yeah, I got to find a hole.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you, Debbie.
Yes, you are welcome. Yes, Ada. Don't ask in sign language because I can't answer.
I've been hearing a lot about culture, and I see a lot of your culture here is that you've set these standards with this, how you train and onboard, but can you define your culture and how do you hire to that so that these things are done?
I'll talk culture a little bit. Team outings, right, are huge. Our Slack channel is huge. If you're not using Slack or something similar, everything goes in there, and there's a lot of real estate stuff that's going on, right? So I talked about not having to tell every agent how to solve that solution. If we get asked a question, we're going to say, if they text me, hey, I got this scenario, or they leave me a voicemail, they're just going to get a text back. Put it in Slack. I want to see if somebody else on the team will answer. I'm going to monitor, make sure that I like the answers that are coming back. But that camaraderie within that Slack channel is huge. Team outings are a lot of fun. Contests will help with that culture. And then they're going to meet these people. Before you're going to bring them on, you've got to get them in front of, it doesn't have to be the whole team, but a few of the team, and then you're going to know if they're going to be a good fit for the culture. And luckily I've got a brokerage, so if they're not a good fit for the team, we can put them at the brokerage side. And a lot of times that's going to be the case. It's not worth it to take production on if it's going to mess up your culture.
Oh, no, for sure. I would also say utilizing the team. One of my agents is in here. He's a phenomenal door knocker. So anytime I talk about door knocking, I'll say, okay, you're going to want to get with Terry because he's a master at it. So I'm building up that agent and also giving him an opportunity to shine. So at our team meetings, giving the agents opportunity to present something that they're good at, and that helps them have that relationship with the other team members so that I know, and we do the same thing at our team meetings with sharing like crap that we learned through the transaction. There's so much value in the team. Most agents sell less than 10 homes a year, so they only experience 10 transactions. On a team, you're going to experience way more. Having your agent share that during your team meeting, again, will help with the camaraderie. Team events are huge. Can't speak enough about this. We do them quarterly, and then the Slack channel, you can use Workplace, you can do a lot of different things, but having something, one of the favorite things that we do is tacos. Not literal tacos, but an emoji taco. So you get a contract, you get a buyer broker, you get a taco on the Slack channel. Sometimes you get a burrito with that taco, but it's fun because we're all just interacting and excited for each other and the success that we're having.
Do either of you have Facebook pages for your team? I know some teams have that. You have a Facebook page, that's one way to interact. Tomorrow, the first session tomorrow is going to be 3 agents talking about culture, how to lift up the agents, and then when it's not working, how to nicely get them out. So I think they'll talk on that as well. And then the last conversation that I'm going to be having with you guys tomorrow is on leadership, which I think is really, really important. So just as a thought, yes, Peyton? I can't hear you.
Something about a Facebook group.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Is Facebook page or Facebook group best for interacting with your team who want to be
Private group.
One other thing on culture is awards, and have fun with them, you know, so we've got, lowest sale, longest sale, lost most
Ugliest
deals.
house.
I mean, lost most deals, absolutely. So we've got all kinds of awards, that's a fun night. I'm not a big fan of recognition. I don't need all the trophies and all that. The agents love it. I can't tell you, we give them a little certificate, it's all over Facebook, and then the friends think they're selling really. It's 2 awards, for sure.
I know, I just saw that. Somebody said, what was the great award? I was there a long time. Yes?
Yeah, I have a question. It goes back to accountability, setting expectations. Everyone gets into real estate because it offers so much flexibility and freedom, right? Often parents, single parents, I'm ready to pull my hair out with child issues.
I have 7 kids.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I've heard it all.
I understand there needs to be some flexibility there, but I recently found out
And your question is?
an agent was taking her child to showings and open houses, and I about lost my mind. Are you guys dealing with
I'm
issues?
sorry, we're out of time, so the question
How do you deal with those issues?
Okay.
I don't personally have a problem if you want to bring your child to a showing, if you're upfront with the client. So actually at the office, we turned one of the rooms into a kid playroom. So we've got a fire stick, we've got movies, we've got blocks. So if you're a mom, you're more than welcome to work for us, and your kids want to hang out in the room upstairs. But you've got to have expectations.
Yeah.
That's a hard question to answer because it really depends on who you're working with and the market that you're working with. My husband, when we're foster parents, he took our baby in a carrier before I got into real estate. He sold more homes before that kid could go to daycare than he did all year. We do allow team members to bring their kids to team meetings because it's so important. I want them there. But if you're showing $1 million home, that's not appropriate. You need to, and that would be a great time to reach out. Hey guys, I have this showing. Can anybody help me? And I know that on my team, if I needed help or any of my agents needed help with childcare, someone on my team would step up. So it has to be appropriate for what you're doing. It's not the best thing because you're really there for the client, but in a pinch, don't let your kids jump on their furniture, that kind of stuff. I've heard that stuff before.
Okay.
Lead. So knowing that I need to do it too, how would you suggest we go about this together as a team? And is anyone else
That's why I look to my best cold caller, I look to my best door knocker, and I'm already setting them up. And with dial sessions, we sit down and do it with them, but I am transparent that, I don't like all of this. I don't expect you to like all of it. It's the biggest mistake I made since we've had a team, is I tried to be someone else's team. There's so many amazing team leaders in this ecosystem, and I remember when you spoke at Summit, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. But at the end of the day, it wasn't me, and I can't force my team members to do something that's not me. So if there's something out here that's not you, but you believe in, maybe you have someone else deliver that content so it can be true and authentic. Because at the end of the day, you can't force something that you don't want to do, because then it's just not going to come across it.
The worst thing you could do is go back and go, I saw this at the seminar, now do it.
Yes.
That's the worst thing to do. You want to come up with, because the size of your team, I'm aware of, you want to come up with something that's going to work. You want them to buy into it. You can't demand it to be done, and then you can grow from there. That's why you've got a great coach, so I know she'll help you with that.
And again, this is because I want them to experience it, and I give them permission to hate something, and at the end of the boot camp, you never have to door knock again if you don't want to. Then until we get our marketing materials, and I'm at the team meeting, I'm like, okay, who's going to door knock for these door knockers? I give them permission to not like it. They just have to at least try it.
Okay, we are out of...
In the great outdoors, forever free.
So let's start with that.
Yeah.
And you can't revere yourself if you can't identify elements of performance, conduct, caring, support, whatever the hell you do beyond and above the maddening crowd. So you have a context of self-appreciation and also of delineation when you're talking to a prospect. We have done a lot of work. Everyone, I'm not saying this arrogant, my billing rate's $100,000 a day.
I know.
We'll give somebody a deal if they're going to become a long-term client. But how can I get that when the average marketing person gets $200 an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the question is how powerfully do you have the ability to delineate, differentiate, and elevate your perception in the mind and in the heart of the target. So let's talk about a couple of methods, and I can only get lightly into them.
Yeah. Okay, so
But there's a bunch of things.
coaching members, raise your hands real high. Guess what we're going to start doing on a monthly basis, depending on his schedule.
Yeah.
Monthly Q&A with Dave.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you, because we're going to go deep on value proposition, USP, like that kind of stuff.
And what I really do best anymore is real problem solving and scenario-based issues as opposed to generalities, because I work mostly with operating businesses, untangling Gordian knots, but also I didn't tell Tom, but I own some of the greatest unsold programs out there. We do programs just for my indulgence and never sell them. And I'm going to give you a collection of some really cool things that are appropriate for each of you. They're very valuable for business, right? Okay.
So, one thing on value proposition.
I'd like to give you, if you'll let me, that's a good question. I want to give you an integration of three things that will not give them answers, but will haunt them positively, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go through a litany of things you can do really cool that will transform you overnight. The first thing is you should learn, and I've got material on it which I'll give you for them. Stephen M. R. Covey, son of Stephen R. Covey, who was a great friend of mine, is the definitive expert in the business world on trust building. He has done research that there are 13 key characteristics that together converge to create unbreakable trust. He's also done research that the companies that manifest these tend to have what I would call a 300% multiplier. They tend to be 300% more successful. If they're public, their stock is about 300% more, but equally as important, not only does it impact sales, shorten sales cycle, enrich the confidence, trust level, but it accelerates and expands. I think we come across as being very trustworthy, and when you look at the key elements, we don't. And one of the most overlooked is the ability to ask meaningful questions and listen and hear. And one of my empathy, it is empathy. Well, that's going to preeminence, which I'll get into in a moment. We've done work on trust building. We've done work on being a maven, which is elevating yourself and delineating a niche that you stand for above and beyond everybody else, and a point of view that is unique to you, and a persona that becomes very distinctive. But probably for the short time I've got, one of the most, I guess I'm proudest in all my work, and we've done a lot of and this is just factual, it's not arrogant, a lot of breakthrough stuff. But probably what has helped more people in more parts of the country and more types of businesses elevate to more lofty and stratospheric heights is what I call the strategy of preeminence. And it takes about, I don't know, an hour to explain, but I'll give you the short form, and I have 15 hours video that I'll give you.
We're going to do a whole session on this.
Great.
I want the full 2 hour, like with your notes.
Yeah.
But at high level, they're going to get it.
Yeah, so let me give you the high level. First is you start with a commitment to be seen by the segment of the market you are targeting as the most trusted advisor in your category or life. You want to be the only go-to source they can turn to. The way you do it is a number of very authentic and non-manipulative things. First, you identify a point of view that is fresh and different but true. Because human beings believe, frankly, that most people are giving them a bunch of crock of crap, and they're looking for fresh, refreshing truth. The next thing you do is you tell the truth. You basically tell them what they should do for their best interest, including always being willing to tell them not to do something, not to spend too much, not to spend too little. You have a moral obligation to counsel them in their best interest, not static for the moment, but look ahead and what's the outcome? Is this house going to appreciate? Are their kids going to have an enormously greater success future? Are they going to get a lot more satisfaction and fulfillment coming home every weekend to this, whatever the things are. Next, you need to put into words what people are groping and trying to get away from or close to in your category. And there's a really
So the pain points and the pleasure points?
Yeah, but there's
What are all the pain points? Identify all of them?
But unless you're brilliant, you're not going to know how to do it on your own. So rather than send you back to your home devoid of the knowledge, I'll give you a shortcut right now. Yeah. Okay. So here's what we call the Amazon.com School of Business. And it basically is, it's a very powerful concept. There are billions and billions of dollars of infallible copy, scripts, psychology, just waiting 24/7 for you to harness. You can go to Amazon.com, you can go to any book on how to buy, sell, choose a realtor, look at the title, look at the subtitle, look at the chapter titles. Those are the denominators that sell more than the content of the book. Those are the phrases that resonate to people. Next, you go to the ratings, the reviews. There's usually 0 to 5, I think. 0 they hate it, 5 they love. This is a very interesting phenomenon. When people are passionate positive or negative, their subconscious overrides their conscious, and it very masterfully and elegantly takes over and expresses itself in profoundly powerful but not abstract ways. So you collect all the good and all the bad. Now you could go to review sites of anything like that. Realtors, agents, do-it-yourself, anything you want, and collect both sides. Now you've got language patterns to play back to people exactly
I got to interpret. Did you guys get what he just said? Yes. Okay, it is go through every one of your Zillow reviews. What are the consistent language patterns, words, and phrases they use to describe how you did it, what the service was, the problem you solved? All of your best marketing is already inside all of the reviews you have.
But it doesn't have to be yours.
Exactly.
It's everybody that's good and everybody that's bad, because now when you sit down with someone, you start by resonating with their subconscious. You say, look, I know that you're tired of people who use all the negatives. And you list the litany. And I know what you really probably want, and no one has ever really expressed it, is blank and blank and blank. And I'm here to tell you that's the only way we will do business together. And now you own them because you're talking their language.
Guys, you're welcome.
It's infallible. That also is the same kind of language you want on your website. And I don't know, I'm just randomly here, one of the biggest, it's a sadness, it's a fine line. It's pathos and humor. Pathos and humor are very similar. If it's somebody else, it's funny. If it's you, it's pathetic. If you look at most people's websites, they are devoid of the first critical element of powerhouse direct response marketing. They do not have a major headline at the top that denominates an irresistible benefit, advantage, differentiation that will be worth the visitor reading the rest.
This is what all their websites say about me.
Yeah, I mean, who gives it? Like, think about this.
Or some of them say, find your, Charleston home here.
Yeah.
Search every property in the MLS. Like that's kind of the norm. That's not real sexy.
Yeah, no. I mean, you got to find something so profoundly, provocatively, deliverably non-referenceable, so they'll stop and go, shit.
Look here for all the properties everyone.
Time delivery services don't have that kind of critical time, but they have enormous overhead. They got the drivers, the cars, the insurance, the dispatch. So we went to a bunch of them and said, we already have that. Even if the cars, the trucks. How about if you disband your infrastructure, we take it over and we split 50-50, and we did it with 3 or 4 different ones, and we literally made millions of dollars for both sides. Do you want more?
You know what we have to do?
No.
I want them to think. Do me a favor right now. I want you to turn to your buddy, and I want you to.
But did that help?
Massively.
I got 100
guys. Valuable. I want you right now to turn to your buddy and tell them one thing you got so far from this experience.
I've been through these equivalents for lots of people, and they're the ones that get it. If you look at every great achiever, he or she has always had a mentor, a coach, an advisory group, a kitchen cabinet, because they realize that their life, as bright as they are and as well read as they are, many books theoretically that they've read, they don't really grasp the magnitude of what's not just possible, but the highest and best way to capitalize on it for sustainability, not just for a short-lived result.
And that's the key. So my friends, operator, someone that is worthy of the title of either director of operations, VP of operations, or the COO of the business, it will be very challenging for you. You with me? You and I have known each other for a long time. When I was trying to do everything, create the content, and coach, and go do seminars, and motivate the team, and be a part of the hiring process, and, as expressive as I wanted to be, I was running myself ragged. I started saying, I'll take less money, I will turn over money to find exceptional people. 5 years ago, I hired my COO, Steve Almonte, the president, actually hired her. And this woman has trained, like, what you guys see in my growth, all I'm doing now is doing what I'm best at. Cindy and her exceptional team and Steve, they do everything else. You can't do it alone. That's the thing you gotta get, right? So at your level, an exceptional CPA, someone who's exceptional at looking at the books and making sure that you're spending your money the right way and things are being taken care of. You're gonna do oversight, you're gonna look at it every month, but if you're writing checks right now, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
I haven't written a check for 15 years.
Okay, I love you. Who's your COO?
I guess it's me right now, and I'm not the best one.
Well, neither was I. I'm organized. Like, my shirts in my closet are in the right color scheme. But if you walked in my office, it's a shit show. I am an artist, baby. Ooh, right? Like, it's all like all my pens have 4 different colors, and I love to do all that. But like, if you say to me now, let's create a logistical plan to make sure that we can run, 5,500 people into 5 different breakout sessions, I'm like, right? Cindy goes, click, 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 click. You need to find a Cindy. You with me? You got to find a Cindy. Your business will go up by 4 times when you get the right operational person who does everything other than you, inspiring your team in the brokerage, figuring out how you're going to get them more transactions, maybe looking at tech or not, because your COO is going to do all that stuff, right? Working with your son and your team to grow and expand that and take care of your clients and ramp up your investments. The only stuff you should be doing is like $1,000 an hour work. You with me? $1,000 an hour. Everything else, total waste of time for you. Pay somebody else, $100,000, $200,000 a year, let them do all of that stuff. Make sense?
Yes.
Big commitment. So, who's your coach?
Jimmy Lapeter.
Perfect. You got to say to Jimmy, 6 months to hire a director or VP level. Don't give him C-level title yet. Director or VP level, and I'll send you the job description. Cool?
Can I have that?
Right? Who else wants the job description?
I want that.
Okay, it's depending on where you are in the country or the world, $95,000 to $175,000 a year job. You sure you want it?
Yes.
Okay, so 4 of you now. All right. Okay, let's go over here. Where are we going next?
No, the dog's
5 years to build this thing up so that I didn't have to. You with me on this? So I know that feeling. And when I was on a red-eye flight, going to Toronto, after already being someplace else and, and writing handwritten notes and, doing everything, I'd get on the plane and I would just fucking cry. You with me? So I get that, right? So here is the thing, ready? I created for myself a 20-year vision. And that 20-year vision, which you've seen me do to try and get you guys to do the same, if I read it to you right now, you would probably cry. Every time I read it, I cry. I would call my boys and I would say, let me tell you about your life when you're 30. We walk into our home in Santa Barbara in these rolling hills of this Spanish-style home, and Michael is like 5 at the time. And I'm like, and you're throwing my grandson, your son in the air. Oh, Dad, I want to have 48 babies. How kids, right? But I would start talking to them about the vision. I'd tell them, and we're working together, and you got your ventures, and I've got my ventures. And I don't know what it was about that experience, but it kept me, emotionally connected to them. They began to understand at a very early age, and you'd see them here at seminars at 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, now 19 and 17. They've grown up in this experience, but I kept telling them, this is why I do it, because we have all these lives to change, and I'm going to help you change your life, and then we're going to change our lives together, and we're going to do this whole thing together. And I kept making that emotional connection, and you know what? Then when I would show up, and I would do a seminar, and it was December, and I was in Iowa, and there was 8 people there, and the auditorium had 2,500 chairs. That's called rejection, in case you're wondering. You guys with me? That's like doing an open house for 7 hours and no one shows up. And I have to just deliver to the 8 people. One sitting over there, one sitting over there, one sitting over here, and the broker in the corner crying. Before I got on stage, I'm like, I'm going to go electrify those 8 people. Those 8 people are about to get the most extraordinary experience on the planet because this is just a part of the journey of the 20-year vision. Not every day is supposed to be perfect. You with me? I'm just on this path. So I would challenge you to not just think about today, but to get a super clear picture of the life that you're building so you're not just grinding and doing 150 transactions and feeling guilt. You're on a journey of this extraordinary experience for this child and the next child and the next child, and then she's like, no, 2 and done. Yeah, I got you, right?
I have 2 hands.
I got you. Well, your spouse has got 2 also, so you could have 4. She's like, no, look at the hand. So, I know, you look hot. You look hot. All right, she's like, I already got my body back. So here's the thing, you ready? The guilt will always be there, right? The guilt will always be there. It was always there for me. It's always going to be there for you. But the guilt was lessened when I recognized what we were doing together as a family. That it wasn't just me on stage. It was Michael and Steven selling T-shirts and raising money for Ghana. And you know that we do this together. So get your kids involved also. That's super important, right? So it's the experience. And then when it's off, it's off. It's not business. So it's all about that vision. That's how you work through it. Make sense? Give her a huge round of applause.
Yeah.
So proud of her. So proud of her. Okay.
You know where you want to go, and sometimes you want to say to them, for God's sakes, just get on the bus and let's go. You can't do that. You have to share with them. These people on stage in the last session talked a lot about transparency and having everyone involved in the decisions. So I think if you want to be a great leader, you have to have a clear vision and you have to know how to share it. I think number 3 is really important. As a leader, we can never believe that we're done. We're never done learning, are we? How many times have you asked a Tom Ferry coach, do you have a coach? Anybody ever thought about doing that? Because we all have coaches. We have coaches for coaching you. We have coaches. I've coached so I can become maybe a better speaker someday. I have a coach to teach me how to better ride a horse so I stop falling off as much. We all have coaches for things, don't we? A great leader should have someone coaching or mentoring them. Who is your best mentor right now? Tell your neighbor. Who's your best mentor? See, some of you aren't even talking because you're like, holy shit, I don't have one.
Who's your coach?
So ask your neighbor, will you be my mentor? Clearly, you need one if you can't think of one. We all do. There's always someone. In fact, one of the first things I learned when I was building my team, because no one was doing it at that time, was to get a board of directors. If you have a team, you want a board of directors or a group of advisors. I had my real estate attorney, my CPA, I had my life insurance guy, and I had a PR person, and they were on my board of directors. Because I wanted to be a great leader and build a team because I wanted to sell it. Many of you have heard me say this. Before I got into real estate, I liked people. I was very clear on wanting to sell that business at some point. Because real estate's hard. So I got a board of advisors that I met with quarterly that gave me ideas and tools of what's going on and what's trending in their markets. What they saw as an outsider. So what are you doing to being open to learning and growing? How many of you all do monthly mentor interviews? Have you all heard of that? Okay, so a monthly mentor interview, that's where you make a list of 12 people in your community that you think are great leaders. It could be from a church, it could be a nonprofit or a charitable organization, it could be the biggest bank. One of mine at one time was actually John Schnatter, because he was in my community, the guy that headed up major corporations in our community. Who could you put on that list? These are people that are movers and shakers and entrepreneurs and great leaders. It could be someone in government or not, depends on your town. Who could you find to put on that list? And then I took one person to lunch every month. I did not talk to them about real estate. I talk to them about what is the best book that you've read? What are you reading right now? What's the biggest mistake you've made in building your business? What is the biggest challenge you've had in moving your employees forward? Tell me about your marketing, what's working, what's not. Think about the ideas you get from talking to people that are successful about how they do it. Could that make you more successful? Could you come up with a list of people? I would challenge you to do that. And for those of you that are in our coaching, I'm happy to provide on the Facebook pages the list of 20 questions that I had. Would you all like that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I will add that if somebody will remind me to, because at my age, in 5 minutes, I will forget. So just remind me, and I'll add the questions that I used to your all's Facebook pages. So open to learning and growth. Solution-driven. How many of you were here yesterday for my sessions? Some of this is I'm going to be repeating. I said to them, I always said to anybody that worked for me, don't do anything illegal, immoral, or unethical. But should you make a mistake, and you will make a mistake, I expect you to, because when you make mistakes, will you ever make that mistake again? No. So I said, when you do, come to me, and I'll help you, but don't expect me to solve it for you. I want you to bring with you 2 solutions, and I will help you pick one. But I don't solve the problems for you. Because if I solve your problems, you don't grow. That in itself is a great solution for a leader, isn't it? Because as you build your team of people around you, you're going to have mistakes that you're going to have to provide solutions for. But you want them to take responsibility. Make sense? Okay. Selling. We have one that's in the management part. But it's not like he's never done it. How many of you have a team of anyone besides yourself? How many have buyer's agents or a buyer's agent? You expect them to prospect. Do you? Because you can't ask them to do it if you don't. I can't tell you how many clients I've taken on that say, okay, I hate making calls, but I've got 4 buyer's agents and I expect them to. Could that be a disconnect in leadership? Absolutely. You have to be willing to do it if you're going to ask them to do it. So, and by the way, we have the mic there if you have questions. Lastly here, you have to have a written plan. Not just a plan, and I'm sure all of you have a business plan for 2018, right? How many looked at it before you left to come here? Yeah, see, it doesn't work in that desk drawer. You're going to have to get it out and read it. You have to have a business plan. Because what happens if we don't have a good plan? Bad things. It's really good to plan before you start painting, isn't it? Just saying. All right, so 7 leadership strategies. I put them all right here for you. It's really, really easy. Be engaged. Be versatile. And that's really hard based on some personality types. Be knowledgeable. If you aren't knowledgeable, go find a place to learn this. Care about people around you. Have a high level of integrity. Work with passion and intensity. You gotta love what you do. And value attitude and participation. All 7 of those are critical if you want to build a team. They're even critical if you have children you want to raise correctly. If you want to be a pillar in your community or your church or wherever. So let's start with engage. We're going to go through all of them. I love this. What if we engage our staff and they leave? What if we don't and they stay? Engaging's a problem. How often do you take the temperature of the people around you? Who here is a manager of an office? Anybody managers? I did this with a client in New Zealand who has an incredibly successful company there. She calls it a walkabout. And every day she does a walkabout. She has a certain time that she does it. She pops in on different agents, not the same agents every day. And she doesn't do anything other than to say, how you doing? It's a good idea to be engaging. What I found, though, is as she grew her company, she didn't have time to do the walkabouts anymore because she had so many agents. Because we tripled her business in 1 year. So we took it to what we call 5-minute coaching calls. Would you like to know what that is? So with the people around you, whether it's your team or you manage them, it's a 5-minute coaching call. You set the time. It's usually on your drive to work. And if you live out here, that could be a long drive. And you schedule the time, you call them, and you're only going to ask them 3 questions. This is not time to get a life story. It's time to engage them and let them know you care. So the first question is, what has been your biggest challenge in the last week? Or if you do it every 2 weeks, what's been your biggest challenge in the last 2 weeks? Now we want to ask the bad question first so that you can get that out, because if you ask it last, you're going to be ending the call on a bad note. So what's been your biggest challenge this week? The second question is, what's been your biggest success? And it's really sad when they go, I haven't had any successes. Okay, so let me help you with that. Did you wake up this morning? Okay, you win. Wake up, you win. You don't, you're dead. So it's good that you woke up. Let's at least start with that, because some people have a hard time coming up with successes. So what's your biggest challenge? What's your biggest success? And the last question is the best. How can I best support you this week? Now, many of our teams do a morning huddle, and a lot of this comes out in the huddle. But if you're not at that level, it's a simple 5-minute coaching call once a week. Or you can call it a 5-minute check-in. Does that make sense? So now let's talk about versatility. It's really important that we're versatile. How many of you here consider yourself a driver personality? And then when you're under pressure, how many of you believe you become more of a driver? It's not as many. Yes, you are. Here's the thing. That's the hardest personality to be versatile. Now, I will say, I know Jenny Turner does it really, really well. She has to work on that. Because as a driver, versatility doesn't make sense to you. It's like, screw that, just do it. I'm not going to be versatile. You have to be versatile. Did everyone take a DISC test? So everyone knows their personality? Those of you in coaching have probably seen the personality video I've done. If not, maybe we can post it. I'll have to ask. You have to learn to be versatile with those around you. Number one thing to do to be versatile is find out who you are. What is your personality type? Number 2, you have to find out what their personality type is. And remember, for those of you that were here yesterday, if you are a driver dealing with an amiable, that's a very tough situation, isn't it? You have to really be versatile, as well as if you're an amiable dealing with a driver. If you're an analytical dealing with an expressive, it is not that bad. I know you think it is. It could be worse, but not much. So you have to learn how to be versatile with them, don't you? So think about understanding. If I want to be versatile, it's just like with clients. Do you ever send an email to a potential listing and say, I'm really looking forward to our meeting. Please complete the attached personality profile. You might have them cancel the appointment, right? That's why you want to study the personality test done by the Wilson Learning Center. There's a great book called The Social Styles Handbook. The Social Styles Handbook by the Wilson Learning Center. We actually teach it to our sales agents on our teams so that when they go on an appointment, they will know within a minute what the personality style is of the person they're dealing with, so they can move into their model of the world. Is that versatility? Absolutely. Read more books. Who's reading a great book on leadership now? Tell us the name of it.
Extreme Ownership.
Extreme Ownership. That's a good one. What else? Scaling Up is phenomenal. Entree Leadership. Is that the Dave Ramsey thing? That's what I thought. What is it? Trust Agents? I've never heard of that one. Internet marketing. Okay. Predictive Revenue? Haven't heard of that one either. This is great. Leaders Eat Last, Simon Sinek. That's a great book.
Yeah.
Thank Thank you, Lori, for saying that. If you want to build a team, one of the best books you can read is You Are the Team.
Can you repeat it, please?
You Are the Team. I don't remember. I did about 5 minutes ago, but if you Google You Are the Team, it'll pop up. Anything else that you guys are reading?
Certainly.
Any John Maxwell.
Yeah, anything by John Maxwell. I think anything by Patrick Lencioni is phenomenal on leadership. The Millionaire Real Estate Team. Putting the U in recruiting. Who saw Jocelyn yesterday? If you have not gotten that book, just get it. It will help you in dealing with anybody. It is so good. She is just phenomenal. So knowledge is important. You have to continue to be learning and going to seminars. You have to find ways to interact with people you don't know. Has anyone met someone here they don't know that they're very impressed by? That'd be scary if you all said no.
I wrote it.
So think about getting cards of people that impress you and getting to know them better. I used to come to these events and say, oh my God, tell me about what's the biggest thing you're doing in lead generation. And if it was something I felt I could learn from, I would say, could I set an appointment with you in the next couple weeks to just do a quick little 15-minute Q&A or Zoom video and ask you some questions to help you build my team? People will say yes. That's what is so great about the ecosystem that we have. Number 4, caring. I love what Teddy Roosevelt said. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If you're trying to build a team and be a great leader, they got to know you care. It can't be the hero and the minions. Does anyone remember Tom talking about that? You can't do that anymore. That's why the flow chart that I showed yesterday at one of the seminars, one of the groups, was the team leader at the bottom. The best team leaders are lifting their agents up. I can use Treasure as an example. She is in the trenches with them, and she has been from day one. Those people would never leave her team. Their culture is so incredible. And it's incredible because of who the leaders be. Not because of all the cool things they do, and they do a lot of cool things. I get pictures from French cooking classes, and they go zip lining. They do all kinds of cool things. It's not about that. It's about who the leader's being each and every day and letting them know how much she cares. The 5th one, integrity. I love this. We're all about integrity here. Oh, by the way, if my wife calls, tell her I'm not in. Integrity starts with you. I've had people say to me, one of my agents did this awful unethical thing, and and I told them, it's okay, you just don't want to get caught, and they got caught. Well, now, what level of integrity is that? Or if the leader says, well, I know I'm not supposed to do this, so you guys don't pay attention, I'm going to do it anyway. Trust me, they're paying attention. It's just like what we shouldn't be saying in front of our kids, and we do, and then we hear them repeat it, and we're offended like, well, who the hell who said that in front of them? I didn't. And maybe we did. You have to have integrity in everything you do, and you have to be transparent. Number 6, passion and intensity. How many of you love what you do every single day, 365 days a year? Be honest. Yeah, maybe 364. Good for you. Most of us have good days and bad days, don't we? But you got to go in there like you love it every day. The thing I learned the most from coaching teams is if the team leader goes in and they're having a bad day and they're bitching and moaning about something, that bad day will turn into a bad week for the team members because you just gave them permission to be negative. And they pick up on everything you're doing. You think your kids watch you? Get a team. They watch everything you're doing. And anyone in here in team will tell you that. They are always watching what you're doing. So, passion and intensity. The last one, attitude and participation. Actually, I don't think that is the last one. I like that saying. We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make. Tom's getting the minimum standards met by his team. So attitude and participation. We did a survey. I'm really into surveying our teams and finding out what they do and don't like. What team members want from their leader? And these are the things that they want. They want to feel like they have freedom. They are still independent contractors, so they want to feel like that. You have to be really careful, too, in having a team. And I don't, how many of you are from California? They are watching you. Did you all see that? I saw a recent thing that came out on independent contractors, especially with teams. When I helped Tom set up the first coaching group that we had when we started the company, one of the things that I said was, listen, I know about independent contractors. You can't tell them what to do. You can't tell them when to do it, and you can't tell them how to do it. You can give them all of the resources and training and renew their contract based on your observations, but you can't tell them. Does that make sense? Has anybody here run into that problem of independent contractor status yet? But just remember, they're watching you. Your team wants freedom. They want accountability. In fact, I have found that some of the team members that resist the most really want the most accountability. It's just like one of your kids. They're going to push as far as they can. And you as a leader, you have to stop, you have to sit down with them, you have to let them know you care, and you have to let them know they're screwing up in a nice way. Right, Cody? Absolutely. They want control, they want that sense of control over what they're doing, and they do want direction from you. Sometimes they're afraid to ask those. Anybody ever notice that with a team member? Because why do you think they are afraid to ask? Huh? They'll look stupid. Who said that? Yes. They're afraid to ask because they don't want to look stupid. You have to let them know it's okay to look stupid. I used to tell stories to my team of all the stupid things I did, and unfortunately there were a lot of them. Like I was prospecting one day, and the guy's name was John Boone. I am old. So I'm dialing the phone, and I'm humming and singing the theme song to the Daniel Boone show. Daniel Boone was a man. He answers, and I'm like, Daniel! Oh, jeez. Oh, no. He just reams me a new message. I can't believe you said that. I'm not Daniel Boone. And he's just going to town on me. And I'm like, okay, so I'm really sorry, but your name made me think of that. And little by little, he came around. He listed. But I have to let them know that I do stupid things too. I mean, I have fallen downstairs, I have fallen upstairs, I've called people by the wrong name. We all do that. We all make mistakes. And if they see that you make mistakes too, it's much easier for them to come to you and go, okay, I need to ask you a question. I don't think I'm doing good with this. But most of them will resist because they don't want to look bad to you. They want you to be proud of them. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Sense of community. The culture of the community is what causes people to stay. One of the questions we didn't get to in the last seminar is, how often do your team members ask you for more money? We really didn't get to talk about that. And if your culture is good, it's not about the money. Because the money's there. There are tons of leads. You do all of the training that you do. You send them to events like this. They have their own coach, which they have in our team program. So all of that's there to support them. If they're happy, they're not going to ask about money. And that's why we talk about the splits being 50-50. Okay, how do you come across to others? I think that's really important. Do you ever think about how you come across to others? I mean, I know I come across as a very amiable person. I'm very shy and unassuming, right, Cody?
Right.
Yeah. I just assume that's how I come across. I know I don't. But if you come across as a strong person to them, it has to be a strong, caring person, not a strong person that's going to pound them in the ground. So you have to think about how you come across to others. Because here's what they're watching. Your environment. What does your environment look like? Does it look like a bomb just exploded in there? Or does it look organized? Does it look like it's inspiring? Tom Toole talked about all of the words that they have up on the wall that really, it defines who they are. What does your environment look like? Tell your neighbor, what does your environment look like right now? Tell your neighbor.
Not bad. I got a bunch of like motivational stuff. Like right up by my wall, it says don't find fault, find a remedy. And then right behind me is like he who's never made a mistake has never tried anything new. I think that was Thomas Jefferson or Einstein or something like that. Yeah, and then my dad's not bad. He's definitely got papers.
Yeah. Right. Okay. We're trying to eliminate papers.
Oh, no pick up
I mean, you have to
hello, we're going to have a great day today, it would affect everybody in the audience, wouldn't it? What is your attitude? What is your approach? How about your skills? How often are you working on your skills? Who here has been to Sales Edge? I am so glad that Bill Pipes does Sales Edge. I would never want to have to stand up there and act like that. He is so good. He absolutely inspires me to learn more about scripts. If you haven't gone to a Sales Edge, you've got to get to one. You've got to have great skills. Great skills. Can I give you one great skill that would help you?
Yes.
When you want to find out what somebody's personality type is over the phone or face-to-face if you're not sure, here's what you ask them. You want to write this down? Tell me, now this isn't grammatically correct for a reason. Tell me the top 3 things about. Tell me the top 3 things about selling your home, buying a home, whatever that is. Tell me about the top 3 things. Tell me the top 3 things about. And here's why you ask it like that. I know some of you will want to change it. Okay, so expressives and drivers don't do that. You ask it that way because if they answer in bullet points, you know they're a driver. Tell me the top 3 things about selling your home. Well, money, timing, and don't bother me. That would be a driver. Okay? If you ask that question and they start talking, and you have to watch real closely for when they take a breath so you can say something, they're an expressive. If they say, well, gosh, that's such a good question. I don't know. What do you think it should be? They're an amiable. See, you're not amiable. If they say, well, that's really easy. Number 1, it's really important to me that I get a good price. Number 2, we have to work on a lot of strategy. They're an analytical because everything comes with a number in front of it. If you want to know quickly, that's how you find out. Would that be a skill that you'd like to attain? Yes. Absolutely. So that's just one. There are so many others. And many of you in coaching are learning them every day. That's just one tool. And if you know that, you'll probably take more listings and get more buyers. They're watching your follow-up. I think they watch our follow-up and our follow-through. If you don't follow up, if you don't return messages, the thing that I admire the most about Tom is that I can stand and look at his phone and I can start scrolling up. There are so many Facebook notifications that it makes me dizzy. And he'll go through and start responding. You all know that. He's liked things. It's him. It's not somebody doing it for him. So your follow-up. How about your attire? Do you dress for success or do you wear pajama bottoms out every day? I've never figured that out. You go out and everybody's in these like fleece pajama bottoms that don't fit.
She's trying to be serious and we're totally fucking with her.
We try to be serious.
Okay, so here's the answer. You ready? You are a genius, you are quantitative, and a little less qualitative. You with me on this? You are better with numbers and analyzation and data. In my world, business is math. So guess what your coach is going to do? We're going to break it down into the matrix for you. Do you know that every 75 of these equals one of these? And you're like, oh my goodness, what if we got up to 62? That number would be even better. And what is that? What is the cost for every conversation? How much money is every lead worth? What does the appointment mean? And then, by the way, notice the first thing she left was it was so hard. And where do I schedule the vacations? Maybe if that's your hardest issue, this is going to be an easy business for you. So you are in very good hands. That's my promise to you. You're in very good hands. And in January, you're going to fly to Palm Desert, California, where we do our January annual leap. It is the strangest, most insanely fun seminar on the planet because I don't even get to do it anymore. The entire room, everyone in the room, takes
you.